Hey guys, so right out of the gate we finally made progress on the whole Momonosuke Yamato situation and in generally finally getting it resolved, which as I've said previously that was my biggest flaw with this part of the story in the manga, which is I felt Oda played up that misunderstanding too much like a gag, and yet the weirdest thing is, for as much of a problem as that still is in the anime, it weirdly feels better paced compared to the manga, but maybe that has to do with the week to week release schedule and just the fact that with anime for slow paced as One Piece is, that there are it does still adapt more than one episode, so I think that just overall makes the pacing better, and and plus that's not even factoring out his breaks during that time. But yeah, it's just good to see that Yamato is kind of now playing a more active role in things now rather than just running or yelling Momonosuke I'm Odin kind of thing. And also just we're just at this point we're also going to be getting into her backstory later on, which to be fair it will make those more goofy scenes make sense overall, but just the goofy scenes themselves are just not the strongest part. And I'm actually one thing I'm actually kind of shocked by is Toei didn't pad it out as much as I thought. And honestly, build up wise, I really liked how the anime handled Shinobu crying out for help, and Yamato and eventually jumping in with the aid. And just the animation in that scene was way better than it had a right to be. I'm just gonna say, like, holy shit. Now, with that said, let's talk about the title of the episode and the implications of what happens with Chopper here, because obviously what happens with his confrontation with the Ice Oni that Queen creates is it's basically the start of his moment, where from here on we will see Chopper kind of prove his worth as a doctor using what he learned during those two years to cure everyone. And that's the obvious point, but honestly I think this is the start of something more as well. And I said this during the manga reviews, but I believe what Chopper does here will in fact offshoot into the possibility of curing the people of Ebizu of their like smile disease and actually allow them to feel emotions again rather than be stuck with a smile on their faces. And I know we were told they'd be stuck like that forever, but I don't think we would get a setup like that if there wasn't a narrative intention to cure them. And this feels like the starting point for Chopper in this case. And again, I just love how Chopper is genuinely like enraged. Like, this feels like the angriest he's ever been throughout the whole series, and it is good to see him just get moments like this again where he feels like his own ideals and what he believes are being directly challenged. And it is generally, again, going back to how much more enraging Queen is as an antagonist, it is generally sickening the more you think about that the only purpose Queen sees in his subordinates, in his pleasure subordinates, is using them as pawns for his Ice Oni bullets. Like, that is just like, dude, fuck you. On the flip side to that, though, on the flip side to what happens with Queen, though, I also want to make a brief mention of Sasaki in this episode, because while I'm still playing the wait and see game, and specifically with how the fight with Frankie ultimately plays out, the one interesting thing for me with Sasaki in the anime right now is it does appear like the anime is trying and to varying degrees succeed in getting me to care a little bit more about Sasaki as just an antagonistic force, because in the manga he didn't. I'll be straight up honest. When it came to Sasaki, the dude never really had a strong showing, and even though that still is kind of the case here, in the manga he like Sasuke did like definitely felt much more like the Nappa of the arc, and in the anime it feels like he's much more like the Ginyu Force of the arc. He's goofy, but he's goofy and will have his flub ups, but he's still getting more chance to show just how powerful he is, and that he has earned his place among like the Toby Robo and whatnot. With that being said, with that being the case, though, let's talk art and animation, because on surface level, it was pretty great. Maybe a few minor little flubs here and there, but overall, it was a pretty great episode on the art and animation front. But There is one thing I definitely need to ask all of you, and I really need you to like post a comment down to see if I'm going crazy on this. But did the art or animation in any way look even a little stylistically different to anyone? Because I can't properly describe it, but something definitely felt different about the episode's art style compared to the previous ones. Like don't get me wrong, the art style in itself is still very much like the art style that's been consistent throughout Wano, but there was also something about it that just looked and felt a little bit different compared to previous episodes. Particularly the moments after Yamato had saved Momonosuke and we focus on the battle in the main hall. That's where the episode felt the most stylistically different. Again, I really need someone's help to kind of answer if I'm going crazy or if I'm onto something, because I think I obviously the obvious answer would definitely be that there's probably a different director, a different crew or something like that. But yes, something just felt different here. But anyway, moving on. From there, we also picked back up with Kaido and Yakuza, which gotta give Kiku some serious props. Arm was completely severed from her body, and she still gets back up to fight. If nothing else, you have to just admire the tenacity. Kiku might be the youngest one among the Yakuza 9, but like the others, he believes in the same thing: victory or defeat. There is no in between and no going back now. Like, they either succeed in defeating Kaido here or not at all. And I also like how we get a little bit of insight into Kaido's philosophy on death and we're getting a little more bits of philosophy on what Kaido believes about death and combat. Like, it's one of those things where you can tell he truly does respect when it comes to people like, as he says, when it comes to people like Roger and Whitebeard, he truly does respect them, and in the way where Kaido himself, he wants to die in such a glorious way like they did. As long as he can achieve that, he won't mind being defeated. And it's an episode like this specifically with how it ends that I definitely understand the reasons why the new opening has so many spoiler moments in it, because no matter what pace we go with the anime from here, like, it's headed full steam ahead into roof piece, as my fellow manga readers like to call it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.